Hi, I'm Phil. Welcome to Rovensden. Today I'm going to be bringing you a comparison video on the Rolling Stones Out of Our Heads. This here is an original copy. I was lucky enough to find this in the used bin earlier in 2024, and it was way cheap and it's in very good condition. So I want to talk a little bit about this album before I get into the comparison. Of course, this was released here in the United States after it was released in the UK. The date it was released here was July 30th, 1965. It had been recorded over the period of 6 months, starting in November of 1964 and going into 65. And as I said, it was released in the UK first. The interesting thing about the album is it's a really hot cut album. It's really distorted sounding in spots. In fact, I would say it sounds a lot like a garage band recording. It doesn't have audiophile sensibilities to it at all, at least in my experience. And I wasn't sure when I first was listening to this, multiple times with intention for this review, if it was my setup or if it was the record itself. So I streamed it on my system and through my USB connection and lossless audio, and I had the same exact problem. And then I also streamed it through the CarPlay in my car, same exact problem. And then I listened to it with headphones as well, and same exact problem. So it's definitely the way the album was recorded. But that being said, it's an amazing album. It's one of my favorite early Stones albums. Of course, the US version has Satisfaction on there, and a number of other changes to the lineup. The Spider and the Fly, I believe, is also US only. I really enjoy this album. It's a fantastic album. The sounds are just bluesy, and I did the review on the box set earlier in my channel earlier, like a week ago or 2 weeks ago. But okay, let me get into the review. Of course, I'm going to review this version, and you can see the, if I didn't show it to you already, the original London thing, and of course mono. Of course, going to compare it to this Record Store Day version here that just recently came out. I was really looking for this, and and the Montgomery Meets Monk, which I'm also going to do a comparison / shootout on. But yeah, I was really excited to get this, and thankfully I did. And there's the back there, and the insert that came with this was pretty cool. It's the tape box. Let's see if I can show it to you here. So that's really cool, the tape box there. But it's not as nice as the Rhino Hi-Fi's, unfortunately. That would have been nice. And then, of course, the disc here. It comes in a polyline sleeve, so I'm really thankful for that, especially when it's something special like Record Store Day. You want to make sure you're getting something special. And then here's the disc here. You can see just this beautiful disc. All right, well, my original copy that I have is actually a very clean copy, so there's not a lot of noise on the album itself. But how does it compare in sound? Well, right away, as I said, the song Mercy Mercy has tons of sibilance. It's almost unbearable on the original. It's really hot. It is boomy, and the guitar is clean, but it still sounds distorted, like very raw. And Jagger's vocals are just the S's, man. They're just rolling into each other word, and it's a lot. I will say about the Hi-Fi one, it's quieter. It's about, not the Hi-Fi one. I'm sorry, the Record Store Day one, the new version. It's about 4 dB quieter. I set my sound for the same level and left it, and then went back and forth between tracks for the album. After listening to both albums, front to back, then I went track to track to really deep dive into the differences. It is definitely bright. It sounds like it's got more bass. It's boomier, and the distortion and stuff seems like it's tamed down a little bit. It's still there. There's still the sibilance and the distortion of the guitars, the rawness, but it does seem like it's been toned down a little bit. And that might be because the dB was lower, about 4 dB lower. Perhaps if I would have turned it up to match at the same levels, it would have had that same effect as the OG. I'm not sure. The next one, Hitchhike, that was a pretty amazing difference. The sound instantly jumped about 7 dB on that song. The OG, you can definitely hear the claps. They're very clear. But the guitar, like the depth perception, the guitar seems like it's back behind everything else. It's not out front. Whereas on the Rhino, on the Record Store Day version, this one, the one with the red obi, on this version here, the bass is more pronounced. I really like it, and the guitar seems like it's more forward. So I appreciated that about the Record Store Day version. As I said, the quiet levels for me wasn't much difference. I'm using a Project Debut Evo 2 with Emotiva speakers and preamp, and it's a pretty good system. And I was hard pressed to hear the difference. A couple crackles on that original one, but for the most part pretty quiet. So that I wasn't concerned too much about that between the two. The next track that I wrote down was "The Last Time." That's the first song on the album that's covered by that's written by Jagger and Richards. It's not a cover. And I'm just looking at my notes here. On the OG, on the original copy here, let me keep pulling that up. It's a little muffled sounding, but bright, if you know what I mean. You can hear that brightness still come through, but it's a little muffled. There's definitely sibilance. The guitar is like clear and out front, which I liked, but sadly there's not much bass, which makes by this point in the song, it's a little fatiguing. I found that I wanted to play with my treble on the receiver, while I didn't though, because I was trying to get an accurate comparison. I noticed too that there's definitely a narrower sound stage on this one. I mean, it is mono, but the sound stage is a little narrower on the original. And I'm not sure if you guys can see here, if I'll try to show you, the runout groove here on this is much smaller on the original. And that I'm sure has some play and something too. So if you can see the runout groove there on the original and how that looks there. And then if I get over here to the Record Store Day, the clear version, you can see how much runout groove is there. Quite a bit more, about 2.5 more runout groove there, which is interesting that they were able to do that. I wonder, probably because of the being cut less loud as well, played a part in that. The high end definitely, as I said, is hotter overall on the whole album, this original versus the Record Store Day version. Then let's see, on That's How Strong, I wrote down some notes here as well. And then on the original, That's How Strong My Love Is. On the original, definitely the sibilance is strong again on that. But Jagger is loud and he's up front on this, and like way up front. And the drums actually sound like they're a bit hot as well, which was very interesting to hear on that. And then when we go back over to the Record Store Day version, there's definitely boomier bass, less sibilance, but everything is still, Jagger's still up front. And I noticed a better separation of the instruments on here as well. And that's pretty much it for side one. And then on side two, flip my notes over there. No Satisfaction. On the Record Store Day, it's more warm, but also a little bit more muffled sounding. But there's definitely more balance between the guitar and Jagger's vocals on the Record Store Day version than on the original. And then on the original, the guitars seem like they're recessed back more, and the drums are up in front. And Jagger's like somewhere in the middle there. And on the original, there's less sibilance, which is weird. So I don't know. It's very weird. Of course, that's my ears, my system. I'm sitting there going, man, are my ears messed up or whatnot? Because I kept trying to find other reviews that talked about this, and I didn't see any, really. But as I said, I tested multiple, and maybe it's my old man ears. Maybe I'm getting there. Oh, Sonny, what am I going to do? I need to get me some AirPod things. I don't know. Anyways, what would I do if I were you? Well, if you don't have an OG, I would definitely get the Record Store Day version. It's a good way to go. It does sound really good. The thing that I did not like too much about it, and that other than the sound, was the contrasts on the original are just crisp and deep blacks. and definition. Like even the teenaged faces of the guys here, if they're teens, they certainly look like it. You can definitely see the pores and the clogged pores, so to speak, and the greasy hair, like they haven't taken a shower. They just got off a tour van somewhere, a little Volkswagen van or something. I love that so much more. And then even on the back, the collage of photos here is very high contrast. You can definitely, and clarity, very sharp. And with the Record Store Day version, it is very different. It's very blurred, muffled. The contrast is just murky, if nothing at all. You can't even see really. You can't even see his face here on this version, but on the original, you definitely can see his eyeball here. So that was a little disappointing, and the same goes for the back as well. Much of the same, but it's about the music, not about the cover, and that's gonna get looked at and appreciated once, and then every time I listen to the record, I'm not gonna be sitting there staring at Mick Jagger's face. At least I hope not. If I do, call my kids. They need to come to the rescue. So I would say yes. It's definitely something that I'm glad I have. Just so I could be able to do that, and it was really not that expensive, really cheap, and I'm very thankful for that. And the wonderful thing too is the record store that I went to had a huge sale, 50 to 75% off on used stuff too. So I got a lot of really good stuff, and they had like $1, $3, and $5 bins, and they still had the original price tags on them of like $20, $25. So just the day before, they're selling for $25 and then $3 on Record Store Day, the way it used to be. That's awesome, and I appreciate the whole point behind Record Store Day and them doing that. And I found some real gems in there that I'm trying to compile to do this series that I'm working on, and it's a slog trying to find everything, but I am slowly but surely. So I got, and they're first pressings of stuff too, which is what I really love, like some Deep Purple stuff, Santana stuff, some really good stuff. So for cheap, man, and in excellent condition too. Can't beat it. So that's my review. I'd say once again, head on out if you can still find this somewhere. I know probably the Record Store Day Market would have them if you've not gotten it, and hopefully they'll release more outside of that box set, and be able to pick up just the individual ones that are actually wanted. So, all right, well, hopefully you enjoyed this video. I would appreciate any subscriptions that you do, likes, notification bells for when I release new episodes, but don't click the notification on your phone when you're in the middle of a business meeting, because the video will just open right up and start playing of videos of Harris Pilton. Yeah, I name dropped you, but dude, you're funny. So anyways, yeah, why do I do these? We all know it's something that I enjoy to do. I love the music. I hope you do, and I hope videos like mine and reviews like this I can keep continuing to do and just show my appreciation for the magic that's in those grooves. I'll see you next time.